This video discusses child sexual abuse. Today, we're looking at a small children's book that is not flashy or polished, but sometimes the books that matter most are not the fanciest. Sometimes they are the ones that say the most important thing clearly. Please Tell is one of the most important, powerful children's books covering the difficult topic of child sexual assault. At its core, this book tells a child what happened is not your fault. You are not alone, and you need to tell a safe adult. This is a very simple message, but in trauma work, it is very important. As adults, we sometimes imagine that if something terrible happens to a child, they'll tell us right away. They'll be able to articulate that something is wrong and immediately have the words for it. But that is often not how trauma works. Children may become emotionally mixed up, feeling scared, confused, or even ashamed, even though they did nothing wrong. They may still care about the person who hurt them, or they worry that if they tell, either they or their abuser may get in trouble. They might think that they just won't be believed. And very often, they simply don't have the language to explain what happened. One of the things that makes this book so powerful is it was actually written by a child survivor of sexual abuse and is talking to other children. That is a huge differentiator for this book. As a parent, I'm sure you know that children do not always respond to explanations, warnings, or lectures. A lot of times, they need something very simple, very direct, and emotionally clear. And the clarity of message in this book can matter a lot for a child who is carrying fear or shame. From a clinical perspective, one of the biggest tasks in helping child victims is reducing isolation and helping them reconnect with reality and their peers. Trauma distorts both. The abuser operates in secrecy and often tells children things like what happened was their fault, at least to some degree. They are the only one this has ever happened to. The abuser may even say that they love the child, they are special compared to all the other kids, or that telling will only make things worse. So when a book written by a child for children gently tells them otherwise, that is not a small thing. If you are a parent, there is something I want to say very clearly. A book like this is valuable because it can help a child tell the truth sooner, which helps them gain safety faster. Healing from trauma always begins with safety, and safety can only happen with disclosure. Now, sometimes a child cannot answer a direct question because they do not have the words or understanding of their feelings, but they may react to a page. They may start getting quiet, they may point, or they may say, "That happened to me." This is why books like this can be so powerful in the hands of a loving, attentive adult. From a psychiatric and trauma-informed standpoint, I also think this book gets at something central to child sexual abuse: secrecy. Abusers keep children quiet through fear, grooming, confusion, shame, loyalty conflicts, or direct threats towards the child or their family. Children are often manipulated not only into entering abuse, but also into protecting the secret of it. So when a resource written by a peer says, "Please tell," it's doing more than offering comfort. It is pushing against one of the very things that allows abuse to continue. The acknowledgement page highlights this by saying, "To my cousins who went through it with me." That matters clinically, and is also why this book is not just a children's story, but a gentle bridge to conversation. To me, this book fits best in the world of secondary and tertiary prevention. It can be a tool for parents or anyone else working with children, not because it replaces good assessment and trauma treatment, but because it can help open the door to them. I do want to add one word of caution. Books like this should be used very thoughtfully. For some children, it may feel validating and relieving, but for others, it may stir up fear and confusion or memories they need help processing. So, and this is very important, this is a book to be read with a safe adult who can stay calm, stay present, and respond well to whatever comes up. Because the initial response when a child discloses for the first time is one of the most important factors for further treatment and recovery. It will shape the child's sense of safety, and it may shape whether they feel able to disclose again later. If a child begins to tell you something, what they need most in that moment is not panic, it's not interrogation or endless questions, and it's definitely not disbelief. They need steadiness, protection, and they need to hear you say, "I'm glad you told me. This is not your fault. I'm going to help keep you safe." As someone working with children and parents, I believe we need more resources that help children speak with less shame and more safety. Because when children find words, adults can step in and safety becomes possible. And that's when healing can really begin. That is why I believe Please Tell is such an important book. I also want to give another book an honorable mention in the trauma space, But if you've gotten something from this video, please like and subscribe so I know you want more of this evidence-based content. Now, the honorable mention today goes to A Terrible Thing Happened. What I like about that book is that it works for many different kinds of trauma, not just sexual abuse, but things like car accidents or physical abuse, fires, violence, or other frightening experiences to a child. So if you are looking for a book that is broader than one specific trauma type, A Terrible Thing Happened exhibits real strengths. Click here to see my short video on that book. So while Please Tell is still my top pick when the concern is specifically child sexual abuse, A Terrible Thing Happened is a strong honorable mention because it is broader and more focused on the emotional reactions to any type of trauma. I'd love to know in the comments if you have found other books in this arena helpful. Let's all practice more understanding and less shame.